Now time for the Mark Kotsay Show right here on A's Cast, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford. Mark Kotsay, we have the new sponsor for you. How's the Bronco? How's the new ride?
Yeah, the Bronco's great. I haven't really driven one very much, and it rides great. The rag top on it, no idea how to work it. Eventually, maybe it'll come down. I don't know, but this bald head can't take too much sun, so we'll have to probably keep it on.
Well, the one thing that we're always going to talk about with them is it's a great experience. And, of course, you had a great experience picking up the car.
I did, yeah. Great group of guys and people there that obviously have a long history in the business, and they're great. They're people that make you feel welcome and take care of you.
All right, so before we get into last night's action, obviously we're talking to you a day after game one. Just overall, the feeling, how you think camp went, and how you feel about this team going into the 2025 season.
Yeah, I thought our camp went great. A lot of times you get into spring training and week 4 of camp, you're dredging along and you think, oh, wow, man, we've got 2 more weeks of this. But this camp went really fast. I thought the guys did a great job of working, getting after it, and coming together as a club. Obviously we had some new faces in camp. We actually incorporated some new training methods. We had some individual days that I really liked and enjoyed in the schedule that gave some guys, a little bit more rest. You think about spring training, guys getting to the clubhouse at 6 a.m. and things have kind of evolved. Things have changed. Rest is equally as important in the training aspect of things. So I thought overall we had a great camp this year.
Now, of course, the last 76 games of the season, your team went 39-37, played much better baseball. What do you think is going to be different about this season overall, the 162, about your club?
Well, there's a level of confidence about this club. There's obviously a level of expectation that hasn't been here in the past. We're coming off a tough loss last night, so you can see the mood that I'm in. But overall, we've got a lot of work still in front of us, and we realize that we're still a young club. We had 3 players under the age of 23 on the starting lineup last night, which that's an encouragement, right? That should be exciting for our fan base to know that we're still developing. We're still bringing up young players that can impact the game. Tyler Soderstrom being one last night. We have a young kid, Max Muncy, that made his major league debut last night, and then you've got Jacob Wilson at shortstop. So it's still a work in progress. We're still putting things together and building this thing for the future as well.
And how about Severino last night? You paid him to be the dude, and he looked like that guy.
Yeah, he really did, and there you have it in the 6th inning, right? You ride the horse. You got a number 1 out there. He got into some trouble, and he got himself out of it, and you could see the velocity tick up. You see the intensity tick up, and you recognize when he got through it, the emotion of that inning, the power that he has to really get things done.
Yeah, when you start seeing 98, 99 there at the end, you're like, wow, yeah, he's going for it. And is that always tough too for you as a manager, that you love seeing it, but it's also the first start? You've got 31, 32 more of these to go for him.
Yeah, a little more stressful than we wanted last night for sure. With Sevy, Scott Emerson's a great pitching coach. He looks out for his starters for sure, and he was tugging me the whole time. So, Sevy and I made eye contact there when there was 1 out, and he recognized the pin was up and that I was thinking about coming out, and he gave me the, like, I got this, and that's all you need to do for me as a former player. I put a lot of trust into these guys, and obviously it worked out last night.
What are your expectations for Springs early?
Jeffrey? That's what the question for. Sorry, I couldn't really hear you, but for Springs, it's a guy that's coming off a shortened season last year. He made 7 starts, I think, and they shut him down. But overall, I don't have a ton of expectation. I've seen him pitch some. He's pitched against us in the past. He's fastball changeup guy. He's got to change speeds, keep it to the bottom of the zone in that lane to have success. So. I'm excited about getting him out there and giving him this opportunity to go out and pitch in the 2-hole and help us win.
Going back to your young players, you look at the 3 hits you had last night. Obviously, Jacob had your first hit, and then of course Tyler Soderstrom with the 2 bombs there. How important is it for the young guys? So Muncy in there. How important is it for the young guys to get off to a good start early?
Yeah, I mean, there's always anxiety, right? There's anxiety to get your first win. There's anxiety to go and get your first hit, to make your first play. So Muncie had a line drive rocket hit at him by a Rosarena that found his glove, which was great early in the game. You're always chasing that first one, and there's no hiding that. So, our first 4 guys in the lineup last night didn't get on base, and Butler got on base once. So that's going to impact the success, right? When those first 4 guys aren't producing. But it was nice to see Tyler, have 2 great at bats and drive the baseball out of the ballpark. We know he has that ability, and it was nice to see last night for sure.
And the reality is, when you go up against the Seattle Mariners, you're going up against basically a top-notch starter every single game.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best pitchers in the game last night, Logan Gilbert, right? And Sevy did his job in matching them. We had the 2-1 lead, and we just couldn't finish it off.
Yeah, the bullpen, it's always, you never know early. What's it like for you deciding the matchups, where you're going to go? I mean, it's only just one game. Obviously, bullpen guys don't want to come in and give up walks and give up hits and give up home runs. But just talk about matchups and how you're going to progress at the start of the season with your bullpen.
Yeah, really. I mean, you said it correctly in trying to figure the bullpen out. But you lean on the experience early. You go with the guys that have been in those situations. Obviously, Jose Leclerc's closed games in the big leagues, closed games in World Series. He's been in that environment. He made a bad pitch to Rosarena, that 0-2 breaking ball that was left up in the zone, and then you get that momentum. You get that energy created in the stadium with the walk to Rayleigh and then a fastball 2-2 that's left out over. We're trying to go in there. We didn't execute the pitches, but he's been in those spots, and you've got to give the trust and to start the year out with those guys that have done it. It's been same with Ferguson. He came out last night, walked 2 guys, and then we have a play that is very unusual, very uncommon that happens, and we still had a chance to get out of that inning. And he hangs the 0-2 breaking ball for the sac fly. So execution late in the bullpen, we've got to be better. And like you said, we've got to identify those roles, and it does take time. And there's a process to that as well.
And how excited are you to have a full season of Mason Miller without, having the training wheels on and worried about whether he can do the job? This guy's hell on wheels. Let him go. You got to be excited.
I am. We got to get the ball to him for sure. That's the first and foremost part of it. Finding guys that can get the ball to him. And but yes, Mason's healthy. Obviously, we want to manage his workload, but you're right. The training wheels are off, and we're excited about what he's able to do. And how he can impact games for us.
Well, let's end on this. Every job you have, every year, you progress and you learn more and you change and you want to grow and you want to be better. So now you've had this gig for a few years. You've now have the contract extension. What do you think that's different for you? What do you think you've learned? What do you want to implement differently going into this season?
Yeah, I think just continuing to grow in terms of handling players and understanding the communication part of it is very important. This group's come together, and it's going to continue to grow. I'm just blessed to be a part of that growth and continue to make improvements on a daily basis. For me, our challenge is, like you said, in the beginning of the year, it's finding this nucleus, finding this rhythm for the bullpen. And I think there's a lot of growth in that as well from my first season in handling and in trusting these guys, and you saw that last night with Sevy. A lot of times in those situations, you go out and get the ball from him. This is a guy that can lead the staff and have huge impact. So, I love what I do. Never going to stop working, never going to stop teaching. And that's kind of the mentality around here with my staff. And we still have a lot in front of us to get better with.
Well, next time we see you, it's going to be in Sacramento. at Sutter Health, and we're going into a ballpark that really is an unknown for everybody. So I think our next conversation we're going to be talking about how do you think this ballpark plays, and we won't really know once it gets hotter, but you'll have a better idea once you get a few games in there.
Yeah, we will. We will. Excited about the home stand against the Cubs and getting into that ballpark and seeing the energy that ballpark's going to provide. It'll be another opening day for us. Then we're off to Colorado for a third opening day. So I think that'll be the next time that we get back on this A's cast, and we'll probably have a lot to talk about.
The Mark Kotsay Show brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford. You're going to love this dealership. Great deals everywhere. All right, Kotz, great stuff, and we will see you in Sacramento next week.
Sounds good, Tony. Thanks.